I watched Sailor Moon last year because it was an iconic classic and I wanted to see if it held up to its status. I watched all the canon episodes of the first arc in the original anime, then watched all the episodes of the first arc in Crystal. I believe these two combined gives me enough of the canon material from the manga. I can easily say that I was disappointed in the results. First, I want to tackle the age argument. For context, the manga of Stardust Crusaders and Dragon Ball Z were released in 1989, Yu Yu Hakusho in 1990, Sailor Moon in 1991, Diamond is Unbreakable in 1992, and Rurouni Kenshin in 1994. JoJo Part 3 and DBZ told entertaining but imperfect stories. Yu Yu, DIU, and Kenshin told revolutionary stories. Sailor Moon is right in the middle of these manga, yet somehow it was subpar. This is all to shut down any kind of argument relating to its age. For the actual story, it was lifeless and repetitive. In the original, nearly every single episode had the same formula. The characters go about their daily lives while a monster is sent to Earth to secretly cause a problem. The Sailor Scouts realize that a monster is behind the problem and fight them. The Scouts fight, Tuxedo Mask appears to help, and they win the battle. Even the fights are formulaic. Characters just shoot out special attacks at each other until the other falls. The end of the season has a Tuxedo Mask recovery arc, and that was okay. In Crystal, this repetition lasts until about episode 7, where the plot of Tuxedo Mask getting captured takes shape and the lore gets revealed. This plotline lasts until about episode 14, the end of the season, but it still isn't very entertaining. In both versions, when the plot isn't following a formula, it is bare bones at best. But a simple plot can allow for complex characters, but Sailor Moon doesn't take advantage of this. All of the characters are basic and I don't care what happens to any of them. The lore of the Scouts being reincarnations of moon people is also pretty weak. It kinda takes away the agency or specialty of any of our protagonists. The OG has the advantage of being more expressive, while Crystal was more straight to the point. I was going to continue watching both versions of every arc and watch one episode of the second arc in both anime, but I decided to stop. Getting through the anime felt more like a chore rather than an enjoyable experience. I expected a lot more from an anime that was mentioned in the same breath as DBZ and Yu Yu, but this leads me to Deviations. Assuming that Crystal is a faithful adaptation, the OG had a lot of deviations from the manga. Starting with the canon episodes, the biggest example was Rei, or Sailor Mars. Her personality was extremely different from Crystal. In the OG, she was an antagonistic rival towards Usagi, and I much preferred this. She was easily my favorite character in the anime. I've heard that Usagi was more silly in the OG than in the manga. This is yet another change I preferred. The filler episodes bring even more to the table. I initially skipped the fillers because I usually believe that deviations from the source material are usually bad. Apparently this was a mistake, because I was recently watching videos of Rei's best scenes and realized that I hadn't seen most of them. This is because they were in filler episodes. The OG anime had a lot of sitcom slice of life scenes, and from what I saw, these are easily the most entertaining parts of the anime. Watching the characters fool around and insult each other is much more entertaining than any of the magical girl parts. I went down a rabbit hole of these sitcom scenes and realized how much I was missing out on. I actually enjoyed the presence of the characters in them. This brings me to the Deke dub. Going down the rabbit hole, I fell upon the dub and started watching videos from it. The Deke dub was the dub that most people saw in the US. It changed a lot from the anime. The most notable examples are dialogue and characters' names. A lot of people hate it because of the amount of deviations, but I loved it. The voice acting can be over the top or underperformed. There are apparently a lot more insults thrown in, which can range from very cheesy to actually clever. Sometimes I'm laughing at how bad the voices and jokes are, and other times I'm laughing at how well done they are. Intentional and unintentional, this dub keeps me entertained. I will compare this to the Ghost Stories dub. That was an anime that did poorly in Japan, so they allowed the dubbers to do whatever they wanted. The dubbers proceeded to mess around and make something hilarious despite deviating from the source material. That's the same energy I get from the Sailor Moon dub. The original sub was somewhat entertaining in the sitcom scenes, but overall boring. Then the dub makes everything entertaining and funny, even if that means the show won't be taken as seriously anymore. I might actually go back and watch the whole anime in the Deke dub because of how funny it is. From the clips I've watched, it might be one of the funniest anime I've ever seen. A lot of people think Usagi's voice is annoying and unfitting, but she has some of the best vocal performances I've seen in a dub. She's always doing more than she needs to, and it's hilarious. So from my experience, Sailor Moon got better the more it deviated from the source, which is one of the worst compliments one could give to a manga with an anime adaptation. If I only enjoy the franchise when it's stuffed with filler and the dialogue is changed to be silly, I can't honestly call the whole story good. Even if I think DBZ has a lot of flaws, it is still entertaining enough to be a 6 or 7 out of 10. The story of Sailor Moon Crystal, which is the closest to the manga, would be like a 3 for me. While I haven't watched them yet, I think the OG anime, with filler included, would be a 4. And then the Deke dub would be around a 5 or a 6. In conclusion, Sailor Moon isn't good, and the Deke dub is the only saving grace for the franchise. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out my manga for free online. If you enjoy my content, please consider donating to my Patreon. All important links will be in the description.